So when I was starting photography, I didn't really have anyone that would help point me in the right direction. And so I would just start all these projects and I would do all these things, everything that I could. And I made a lot of mistakes. And so I'm not gonna pretend that I have any kind of wisdom that other people don't have. I just know that there are some things that I did that I wish people warned me about. But that's really the name of this game, is just growing and progressing and finding your style. So don't be ashamed of the process. Don't be ashamed of getting your hands dirty and making mistakes. Mistakes happen, and ultimately that's what's gonna make you better in the end. So let's talk about some things. When it comes to your brand and your style, the way that your pictures look, don't try too hard. See, there's really strong brands out there. You know, there's like wedding photographers that have beautiful, airy pictures, and you can look at that and be like, oh man, that is so cool. Those are so pretty. I love those pictures. But that could be completely different from your style. That could be not how you shoot. You know, I tried that for a while and I realized that that was not how I wanted my photos to look. Not that there's anything wrong with those pictures, it just wasn't me. And so I made the mistake when I was beginning that I would overdo. I would try and edit in someone else's style. I would try and take pictures that didn't reflect my passions, and my photography suffered for it for a while. And so my advice to you, don't over edit or don't do something strange in the name of finding your brand. Just do what you love and then style will follow. Just commit to being the photographer that you want to be in the moment. And in that, you'll grow through it to develop your brand. Second of all, I think that there should be a period of time at the beginning of your professional endeavor where you give your work away. See, I had a lot of really kind, well-intentioned people that said, dude, don't undercharge, like charge what you're worth, you know your time. And man, like that is so valuable. That is so true, and that's a good word. But at the beginning of your career, you're not as experienced, you're not as skilled yet, and you don't have a portfolio that's really strong and can back you up, you're not worth anything yet. And so at some point, you do have to charge nothing. And so don't be afraid to give away your work. That's actually such a noble thing, to know that like this is where you are in this journey and that you're just at the beginning. There will be one day where you make a lot of money doing what you love, but it has to start somewhere, and don't be afraid to give it away. Now, third, on the other side of that coin, for people who are professionals and maybe been in this game for a little bit, don't you dare undercharge. See, it really robs you if you're charging less than what you're worth. You know, if something takes a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to edit, you know, several days on end, and you just charge a few $100s for this project, you severely devalued your time. But actually the real crime there is that you really rob the community around you of that opportunity. And what I mean by that is, see, that client is never gonna hire that photographer if this equal photographer is charging way less than they should. It really damages the whole ecosystem of the creative market when one person decides to just drop prices. That's something that's not really talked about a whole lot, but I think it's really important. I've seen it here in West Palm Beach, I've seen it in Atlanta, I've seen it among my peers and my friends in a lot of places, and it really hurts people. So if you're a professional, I would encourage you to consider looking at your peers and seeing what they charge and maybe finding some common ground there. It may help more people than you think. Next thing is, when you become a professional in something like photography, 9 times out of 10, it's because you just love what you do and you want to do more of it. But with that, it's also imperative that you maintain your love for what you do when it becomes work. And it's easy to lose that. It's happened to me a lot of times where the inspiration just leaves. Just the ideas run out, it's no longer that fun, and you're just like, you just want to separate yourself from your camera. But in that, I think a healthy practice is find something that you love to do, find an avenue or a way in which you love to shoot, and just give that time and work away freely. See, here in Florida, I love to shoot surf photography. It's so much fun. A lot of my buddies do it, a lot of the community does it, and there's not a lot of money in it, you know? Like no one's really hiring a lot of surf photographers. But that's something that has really helped revitalize my love for photography when I'm out of ideas. when I'm just kind of over it and I just want to distance myself from my camera. Seeing other people enjoy my work as much as I love to enjoy it is the most fulfilling thing. Next, something that I've seen help my photography a lot, especially in the beginning, is just being bold. Be proactive, send emails, walk into storefronts, contact brands that you want to work with, contact people you want to work with. If you're proactive in seeking out work, other people will likely respond to that. People might not realize that they need your help for something until you reach out. Sometimes you have to give them the opportunity. Don't be shy, reach out to people. I actually need to do more of that right now. Next is, when you're on assignment, when you're shooting an event, move with purpose. Don't wander, don't just sit, don't just stand somewhere obscure. Stand where you need to be where the action is, be where things are happening, and then move where you need to be. The difference between wandering and moving with purpose is a huge difference. See, if you show up and are confident and move like you know what you're doing, your pictures might not even be as good as the next guy or the next girl, but if you show up and you're a professional and you look like you're confident, that could set you apart and it could get you hired again. Don't be afraid when you're on assignment. Move like you know what's going on, even if you have no clue what's happening. Next is straighten your horizon lines. A crooked picture sets you apart as an amateur photographer faster than anything else. Your composition, lighting, and color grading could be amazing, but if the horizon line of the ocean is at a 15-degree angle, or even like a 4-degree angle, that makes you look like you either don't pay attention to detail or don't realize what's important in a photo. This picture that I took and was happy with, apparently, is similar, but still very different from this picture. In quality, they're slightly different, but the fact that one's straight and one is not is the main thing that sets them apart. One of my mentors always said, the difference between someone who's good and someone who's great is probably just 15 minutes. Pay attention to the small things because they really matter. Lastly, and something I've learned more recently, is not everyone is your client, nor do they need to be. There will be people who don't want to work with you. Maybe it's because they don't like your work, maybe it's because the pricing isn't right, but there's also going to be times where there's going to be people you don't want to work with. Don't be afraid of that. Realize that in the moment and back yourself out of a situation that you don't want to be in before it happens. I've been hired by people that I look back on and I realize I should have said no, but I didn't because I thought I had to take every opportunity. See, I think that's a common mistake that freelancers like myself often make, is that we have to do everything that comes our way. And though there is an essence of paying your dues and paying your bills, don't be afraid to back out of a scenario that you know won't be beneficial for you and or the other person. See, mistakes like these, big or small, are gonna happen to everyone. You're gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna continue to make mistakes. Don't be afraid of that. But these are just a few things that I wish people had told me somewhere along the line. I hope they help you a little bit. I can't wait to see what you create. Happy shooting, friends.